Hey folks, I thought I would make a really quick algebra review. It was actually because a student of mine had given me this question and I was actually a little stumped, so I thought I would go over this type of, it's kind of like a backwards solution, which is where if you are given the solution, for example, in this case we have x equals 1 plus or minus the root of 3, can we produce the original quadratic? Well, I'm going to show you two ways to do it. Now first, the easy and the lazy way, in case you just want to jump into it. Here we go. If we plug in x minus its own x value, we should get zeros, right? So we plug in x minus the 1 plus minus the root of 3. And since that means we have to expand it, we get two equations. And if we FOIL it, as you can tell, we're going to get x minus x and then minus x again. And then 1, this is 1 and minus 3. This is going to give us x squared minus x root 3 minus x plus x root 3 is going to be minus 2, and these two go away. Now we are left with x squared minus 2x minus 2. And that's going to give us our first solution. This was actually the very quick and easy way to do it. Okay, this should make pretty easy sense. It's just x minus x that gives us that solution. Okay, so now I'm going to show you method 2. Okay, and method 2, it's a little more drawn out, and it relies on using the quadratic equation, the one you see up there. As you know, this is minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and we're going to set that equal to our x value, and remember that our x value is just 1 plus or minus the square root of 3. Okay. Now, if you notice, what really gives us a hint, sometimes you can't do this, but in this case we can, because if you notice our equations on both sides, they have two parts that are similar. Okay, so we split them up so that our b over 2a is one part. We can go ahead and solve for this, which should be pretty quick. That's negative b over 2a equals 1. And that's going to give us, of course, that b equals minus 2a. And this is going to be one of our first conditions, or our first equations. Remember, all equations must be true all the time. So in this case here, we set this other one, which is b squared minus 4ac. This is equal to 2a times the square root of 3. Okay, notice how we move the 2a to the other side. And that just gives us 12a squared. Remember, 2 inside the square root is going to become 4a squared times 3. Okay, and now we're going to move both of these into one side, and that's going to leave us with a 1 over here on the right-hand side. Now, we're going to do a substitution. b is minus 2a, so we put where b squared was, we put minus 2a. That's times 4ac. And everything else, let's go ahead and carry it out further. This is going to give us 4a squared minus 4ac over 4a times 3a. It's the same thing as 12a squared, but I'm just preparing everything so you can see how everything's going to split. Okay, so now here we're going to take out the 4a, which is going to give us a minus c. That's 4a times 3a. Now you can see that we can eliminate these two here, and that's going to leave us with a minus c over 3a inside the square root over and 1. Now, it's not that straightforward, but what is in here must be 1. Now, I'm not saying that it always equals 1, because sometimes it won't. In this case, it does. That's why I didn't take these things out of the square root, because sometimes folks will actually square both sides. That will actually introduce extra equations, so I didn't do it this way. So now we get that b is minus 2a, and 2a is minus c. So, if we decide that a is 1, then b is minus 2 times 1, and c is minus 2 times 1. And if we put these together, that's going to give us x squared minus 2x minus 2. And as you can tell, we have reached our second solution. So we have our two solutions, and we are good to go. So I hope that helped out. And if you got any questions, let me know, okay? Okay, thanks a lot, and take care.